Yeah, this is a response to the comments that I've gotten over the past, I don't know, since I had this channel up, started talking about women and female nature. I always got hit with, I could tell that you had mommy issues when you first started talking. And that individual was right. Let me just explain to you. Um, like my mother, this isn't something that it's not debatable. I know all this shit is true because I know my mom's life story. She came to my pop as a virgin. Uh, you know, not that that necessarily a great thing raised in the church, but that eventually turned into you listening to the pastor more than you were listening to your husband, meaning my father, which caused problems in the relationship right there. But we're talking a virgin, a professional woman, uh, no drinking, no cursing. Well, cursing, yeah, but no F word, that type shit. Like, no drinking, no drugs, didn't play cards, just wasn't a carouser. She was a complete opposite of my dad. To be honest with you, he didn't deserve her, to be honest with you. And, you know, why I say I got mommy issues is because I never found anybody who was on her level. Girls that smoke weed and shit like that. No. There's times where I would look at a chick and say, do they fit in with my mother and my sister? No, my mother was dedicated. When I was learning how to hit a baseball, she was the one pitching it to me. And then I'd hit the ball, my sister be the one in the outfield getting the ball, throwing it back to my mom who was pitching it to me. When I was in All Star for baseball at 8 years old, we had a game up in Chester, and I pitched. That was the first time I pitched. My mom was the one running around like a cheerleader, telling me, fire it in there and stuff like that. That was my mom doing those kind of things. So my mom definitely loved her children. And my mom was the one that went back and got that Boba Fett action figure that my father threw out the window. Threw out the window, if you remember, in one of my older videos. And that's just it. I never found a chick that was on that level. Like a quick story: when I went and got my criminal record expunged, I had to go to a pardon meeting with the lieutenant governor and treasurer, and both of those guys went on to be governor. Look it up, Jack Carney. No, John Carney and Jack Markell. Both of them were on the board for me when it came time for me to, plead my case as to why I wanted to get my criminal record expunged. And they asked me, "Did you bring anybody with you?" And I was like, "Nah, I didn't bring anybody because I don't like asking people for stuff." And I was like, "Well, I did bring my mother. She drove me down here because it was the trial board was in Dover, and I'm from Wilmington, so it was like a 40-hour drive, a 40-minute drive. So she took me down there. She waited in the car. So they was like, "No, get your mother and bring her in." And when I brought her in, the treasurer basically said, "Why didn't you bring her in here from the beginning? We would have known what kind of person you are because she represents you good." And it's not like she was dressed up. She had jeans on. It's a way a woman carries herself to where that's a serious woman. If my shit ain't right, I need not talk to her. There were girls that I didn't approach because I knew they were going to look down on my abundance of weed smoking. I had girlfriends that went to Princeton. You know what I'm saying? I had white girls. I mean, no, black girls that were like white girls named Heather. And, Heather did smoke, but eventually she grew out of it where I didn't, and she had to leave me behind. A quick story: a friend of mine was on campus when I went to Morgan State, and I had gone out with this girl, and he knew about me going out with the girl, and he knew that I liked the girl, but the girl didn't even know him. So she's talking to a friend of hers, and she said, the girlfriend says to the girl I was interested in, "Did you go out with James the other night?" "Yeah, I went out with him." "Do you like him?" "Yeah, I like him." "Well, you don't look like you had a good time." "Well, he drinks, he gambles, he smokes weed." So basically, she was like, "We can have fun." And that's what it was. A lot of short term relationships, but they didn't want to be serious with me. They didn't. So that's why I got mommy issues, because my mother served as a rubric to the rest of you women out here, and I saw like what type of woman I wasn't gonna mess with. And it's not like I'm showing this. So I'm proud of my mother, and I'm proud of her, seriously. So you should be able to look at this picture and tell two things: that I'm not an incel, and I had a mother who looked out for me and put her needs behind her children's needs. But I will say this: when I say all women are like that, all women are like that. My father, who supported my mother when she retired from her job at like age 50. She got laid off and retired. So my father moved in, paid all the bills. One day he was just going through her desk looking for something totally non-related to what he found. What he found was her retirement package, and she did not have him listed on it. Now, I will say my father was not faithful, not emotionally available, but he was a good provider, and that was why she stuck around. Now, she stuck around because he was a good provider, but if he was the kind of dude she wanted, she wouldn't have been attracted to that dude like that. You understand what I'm saying? All women are like that, man, even your mother.